Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. This is the first in the beginning of my channelings I'm going to be doing now consistently on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for the Twin Flame Collective. So if you are someone who is a twin flame, be sure to check back at my channel on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be live premiering these readings because I really love us all being able to join together here to check in energetically, emotionally with one another and provide support for each other along this journey wherever we are globally on the planets. So if you are a twin flame and that resonates with you, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Also, by liking and subscribing to this channel, I'm also able to channel more specific messages for you and for your twin flame situation. So yes, today this is a twin flame specific reading. I know that lately on my channel, I have been doing some reading videos that are meant to apply to really any form of love connection, including twin flames. But these Monday, Wednesday, Friday readings are really meant to get us tuned in specifically to the Twin Flame Collective. And as I was beginning to shuffle there, the anxiety card in the reversed came out. And I heard a lifting of anxiety, a lifting of confusion. Now, of course, today on the 17th is also a full moon. So I'm hearing that there's something to do with a lifting of confusion or a lifting of anxiety that could connect with this full moon cycle. So what do twin flames listening to this reading need to know at this time? If you feel guided to do so, you can also set your own intentions for this reading. Sometimes this can help to bring forth greater clarity from the readings. So you can do this either in your own mind, out loud to yourself, or by typing your intention in the live chats or the comments. So what do twin flames listening to this reading need to know in regards to this anxiety reversed card? How is there some kind of lift in confusion? I also heard a lifting of the veil. I feel this could just be metaphoric to something coming to some kind of clarity. Garden and the gates in the upright position. So I'm going to read a little bit from the guidebook about this card to channel some messages here. Abundant prosperity, staying safe. This card upright bodes well for the financial scene. In fact, there may be a lot of money or other personal pleasures coming your way at this time, but be aware. The choice to stay in the seeming security of this lovely garden may actually be motivated by habits or a fear of the unknown. So what I'm getting from this card, connecting this with the anxiety reversed card, is I feel I am connecting in here with someone, potentially a divine feminine here, who has been, that fear of the unknown line just really jumped out at me, like afraid of the unknown or the uncertain in regards to her life or in regards to this connection. And I feel that what is coming in for her spiritually, energetically, from the divine, from her guides, whatever you connect with spiritually, is this greater sense of security and clarity within herself. I'm feeling almost the divine stepping in here to say, release your fears of the unknown and continue to walk forward boldly in spite of your fears, in spite of that anxiety. So if you are a divine feminine connecting with this message, which by the way, I will be channeling many different messages in this reading for the feminine and masculine, which are not connected to a specific gender. For those of you who are new here, you can be a masculine who is a woman or a feminine who is a man. It's all about energy balance within. But also I will be channeling many different messages, so be sure to only take what connects with you personally and to leave the rest. Always use your intuition as your guide through these readings and really just through life in general as well. But anyway, what I'm getting here is a divine feminine who is on the rise into her power, and I do feel that there is something specifically connecting here with career, with her financial situation, her work life, her career, or her life passion. And I feel the divine coming in here to say, release your fears and uncertainties about this situation because it is safe to trust where you are moving, where you are going. It is safe to believe in yourself and where you are being led. I'm hearing that for many divine feminines, there is this feeling of having been chosen for some kind of a calling, a passion, a purpose, or a path. And at times you may wonder, am I just imagining this feeling of being chosen for this? And the divine is coming in here to say, this isn't just within your own mind. You quite literally have been selected, or rather you've selected for yourself as a soul prior to incarnating here, this very important life path, mission, soul purpose. And when I say important, I don't mean that this is necessarily a specifically spiritual or what we think of as spiritual pursuit. This could simply be sharing yourself with the world in some way through a career, through your connections in this life, through some kind of a hobby or passion of some kind. And as I was speaking, a card came out from the Starseed Oracle, so let me get that. Yeah, and this card says, a new earth, it's happening. Keep holding the vision. Wow, that is so synchronistic. That applies so perfectly to what we've been talking about continuing to hold your vision, to fix your sight on, I'm hearing to focus on what you want to create, what you desire to create, and not upon your fears, to shift your focus from your fears and anxieties into trust of where you're being led. I'm going to read a little bit from the guidebook for this Starseed Oracle card, A New Earth, because I'm feeling a lot of power coming from this card. So just give me a moment to flip to the page here. Don't give up now. You're closer than you think. I know it's hard to hold the frequency of a new age when it feels as if so much is crumbling and so many are losing faith. This is your sign that you're facing the right direction. You have a great gift in being able to see the potential of things before they exist. Tend to the new seeds. Dream them into existence. Don't lose faith now. Keep your focus fixed. So I really hope that whoever that message was for, you received that really beautiful message there from your guides, from your higher self, or from whatever divine forces you personally connect with. Now, I do want to reshuffle these cards here. And while we're speaking to this divine feminine, I want to see how she's feeling right now in regards to her twin flame connection specifically. The words dawn and street came out from the love word scramble here. If that connects with anyone. For those of you who are new, the love word scramble is a tool I use to channel specific words that will connect with certain individuals in meaningful ways. So how is this divine feminine, or how is the collective feminine feeling in regards to the twin flame connection specifically? Cornucopia in the reverse position, 1111 reversed. So this card speaks to wishes delayed or wishes unfulfilled. This card has been coming out a lot recently for the collective feminine, and by recently I mean really within the last 6 months to a year of readings here on this channel. And the reason for this is because many in the collective, and yeah, door to value reversed here as well. We'll get into that in a second, but many in the collective, especially the collective divine feminine, have had this experience or feeling in the 3D, in the physical, in this last year within their connection of feeling as though there was something they wanted that was always just out of their reach or didn't happen the way that they wanted it to. And as a result of this situation, door to value reversed, there's also this feeling strongly in the Divine Feminine collective of, quite frankly, for some, worthlessness, this feeling of loss of value within the self. Now, this is a very past energy card for many, so what really happened here for many collective Divine Feminines is in the last year, there was an experience of something not happening within the connection the way that they wanted it to, leading to this feeling of, am I worth anything to you, Divine Masculine? The kind of ego triggering happening there through that situation. But then ultimately this led to an inner introspection, this feeling of, wait a second, why am I seeking external confirmation of my value from anyone, even my Divine Masculine counterpart or this twin flame connection? Why am I externalizing my value? And this led to a very deep path of introspection within the self for the collective feminine of, where am I deriving my value? How can I increase my sense of inner value, my sense of worth within myself, rather than externalizing myself in anyone? What else is the Divine Feminine feeling right now at this time? I feel like I'm just getting a progression of cards here, like recapping this last cycle that many of us have been through, whether it was a year, a few years, a few months, because many collective feminines have experienced this progression. The storm warning card came out in the upright position, and I'm almost seeing these sorts of flashbacks happen for the collective feminine as she kind of recaps or replays, brings herself up to speed, so to speak, for everything that's happened in the last several months or few years, or I just keep wanting to say the last cycle because this cycle can span different time periods for different people within the collective feminine. But for most collective feminines, there is this pattern, this cycle that played out. Cornucopia reversed, feeling wishes delayed, wishes unfulfilled, something in the connection not happening in the way or on the timeline she wanted, leading to door to value reversed, feeling as though, am I worth anything to you, Divine Masculine? What is my worth to you? And then the realization that she was trying to externalize her own worth, leading to a lot of deep level healing, introspection. But with storm warning upright, I see this very dark night of the soul energy. I see this period of time in which there could have been I'm hearing a lot of growth, a lot of healing, but also a lot of pain, a lot of things that have remained very unconscious for a long time, finally being brought to the surface. And I see this happening both for the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine. Again, I feel a lot of past up through recent past energy from these three cards. So now I want to know what is going on right now for the collective Divine Feminine, now that we're caught up to speed, for those of you resonating with this. What is happening right now for the collective feminine? So many cards just flew out. Give me a second here to gather these. So 4 cards just came out here. I don't think I've ever had cards come flying like this. Divine Feminines listening, you must be bringing a very powerful energy to the table or to the reading right now. But with Happy Family reversed, I see a few things from this card. This is the first card to come out. I see, first of all, a Divine Feminine who had this feeling as though she was, I don't want to say giving up, but surrendering. That's really the better word here. Surrendering her concrete vision of exactly what she wanted to happen with the Divine Masculine and when. Because with this Happy Family card, I see this to symbolize a kind of manifested 3D stability, almost like a 3D union card. So with this card reversed, I see it's like a Divine Feminine who has had the courage and faith to let go of concrete expectations and attachments to outcomes within her twin flame connection in the 3D. And ironically, as we know, it's actually through this deep level surrender as twins that we open ourselves up to creating a stable, energetic union with our twin that then allows us to actually manifest effortlessly attract the unfolding of our connection in the physical as well. But it has to come from this space, ironically, of letting go, of surrendering our attachments to the outcomes. And I feel that collectively, many divine feminines were, I'm hearing, pushed to a point, because I feel to the ego, it kind of feels like a pushing, like I was forced to let go because I really had no choice but to let go. But regardless, a surrender took place. And I feel that this led to, with rest and rejuvenation reversed, I feel this could be speaking to the fact that, so I'm hearing some very strange specific message, which is a divine feminine telling me that in the last few months or the last year, her sleep schedule has been all over the place. Like, this won't be for everyone, but there's a divine feminine telling me that, like, some nights I was staying up super late, some days I was getting up super early, sometimes I was only sleeping like 4 hours or even less in a night, and other nights I would sleep like 12 hours or more. I'm feeling a divine feminine whose energy levels and sleep schedule just have felt all over the place. And I feel like this is potentially kind of an ongoing theme, possibly over the last several months or year. So I'm actually going to speak to this for whoever this is for, because I'm not sure who this message is for, but I do feel there is a message here for this divine feminine with a sleep schedule that is just a little bit chaotic, or has been chaotic. But also in the love word scramble, the words alive and carry came out. With the word carry, I heard that there's a divine feminine carrying energetically a lot of collective energy. I'm going to get into this soon, but I feel like this divine feminine, it's almost like she's taking on a lot of collective patterns in order to heal them at this time. And perhaps this sleep schedule that feels a little bit chaotic could be in part because in this last several months or this last year, she's gone through this period of time of choosing to transmute a lot more for the collective, meaning that she's become more attuned with collective shifts and energies. She's becoming more energetically sensitive, which means she's also really opening herself up to her spiritual gifts. But it also means that because she is becoming so sensitive to these collective shifts and changes and feelings, it's causing an effect on her sleep schedule, on her energy levels, sometimes beyond the knowing of her conscious mind. So sometimes consciously, she won't really understand why at times she feels really energetic, at other times she feels drained. She feels like her sleep schedule can be all over the place. And I feel that her higher self is guiding her to realize that she is transmuting, meaning changing light or changing darkness into light, transmuting a lot more than just her own inner energy or her own connection. She's actually taking on a lot for the collective consciousness as well. And in doing so, again, she's becoming very in tune with her own spirituality, her spiritual gifts and abilities, but is also at times feeling this drain energetically. And from the Starseed Oracle, Child of the Cosmos, the intelligence of the universe lies within you. Really beautiful card. I'm not sure I've ever pulled this card before, but I am going to read from the guidebook for it. There's a mysterious force that governs all of life, an intelligence that tells flowers when to bloom and the tides and seasons when to come and to go. Yeah, I'm hearing that tides and seasons, really connecting in with this divine feminine's energy levels or sleep schedule. And specifically what I'm hearing here is, we don't ask why the days get shorter in the winter or why the tide comes in and comes out at different times of the day. And yet when it comes to our own energy levels, at times we're so hypercritical, right? We're so quick to self-judge and to say, if I'm feeling drained, if I'm feeling tired, there must be something wrong with me. It's like we expect metaphorically ourselves to be in summer all the time, to be in these metaphorical long days of the year, to always be experiencing this warmth, the same level of sunshine as we would in the northern hemisphere during summer. And yet, I feel the divine stepping in here to say, beautiful divine feminine, you are like the seasons, you are like the tide, because feminine energy is so connected in with Mother Nature also, and it's a very sensitive kind of energy. And I feel the divine coming in here to say, those times when you feel drained, this isn't because there is something wrong with you. It is because you are yielding to the seasons within yourself, the seasons within your life, the ebb and flow of the tide within your own beautiful, energetic being, just like Mother Earth herself surrenders to her own seasons and her own cycles. So I really hope that a divine feminine received that message of releasing any self-judgments around varying energy levels, sleep schedules, etc. You are healing and transmuting more than you know. And this isn't a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of you becoming more beautifully, energetically sensitive, and also learning to yield, to surrender to the timing of your life and the cycles within your beautiful being. So I am going to now move on to the third card in this 4-card spread that flew out earlier. And this is man holding a heart in the upright position. Just to circle back here, we are speaking to a divine feminine and how she's feeling in regards to the twin flame connection. Although, as you've been noticing, we're getting many life-related messages as well, because my guides are just really pushing these messages through to certain divine feminines who need to hear them. So with man holding a heart upright, I hear holding space for the masculine, allowing you, divine masculine, to rise in your own power. I want to get more information on this. So how is this divine feminine allowing the divine masculine to rise in his power? The word bigger came out, and for some reason I heard someone say like being the bigger person. So there could be a divine feminine who had the feeling of, and of course, this is coming a little bit from ego, but needing to be the bigger person in a situation with potentially a karmic. I'm getting a little bit of an itching on my head, signifying something with the intuition. So there could be a divine feminine who became privy to some information about a third party or a karmic sort of situation with the masculine, and who had the feeling of needing to be the bigger person in this situation in some sense. And I'm seeing her either pull back or step away in some kind of a way. Let me know if that connects with anyone. I don't think that will be for everyone. How is this divine feminine allowing the divine masculine to rise in his power? Door to Spirit in the reverse position. I'm hearing no longer ignoring my own divine guidance when it doesn't make sense to my physical mind or even my emotions. I know this sounds like kind of a strange message, but I feel as though there's a divine feminine who has been guided to certain actions or changes from her intuition, but at the same time who has had these fears about following through on these intuitive hits, because there's this feeling of, but wait, I don't see how this is going to lead to what I desire out of my life or out of this connection. And I feel that Spirit here is teaching you, divine feminine, how to actually surrender to your own intuitive guidance. This is a key component to this overarching theme of surrender taking place within you collectively, divine feminine. And so what I'm also hearing from this card is there's something going on with the third eye, with the intuition here. And I feel as though, because again, twin flames do perfectly energetically mirror one another, although the way in which these energetic mirrorings manifest in the physical can cause confusion, because very often it mirrors in a way that is very visible within the collective masculine, because the masculine is more physically oriented, more matrix 3D oriented, whereas for the feminine, these manifestations of these energetic twin flame mirroring situations tend to be much more subtle, much more energetic or vibrational or spiritual or emotional in nature. But I am feeling here there's a mirroring effect happening between this divine feminine and divine masculine in regards to an intuitive block. So what I mean here is I feel as though there is a divine feminine here who ignored her intuition about something going on within the connection for a long time. I feel as though there was a divine feminine who had some kind of intuition on something, whether it was a third party situation, a karmic pattern. This could have been intuition telling her to do something within the connection or in regards to the connection. Specifically, I keep hearing this energy from someone. This won't apply for everyone, but for someone, it was like this divine feminine knew about some kind of a situation with the masculine, a negative behavior pattern, a karmic situation that he wasn't telling her about or showing her. It's just that she knew. It's like she just had the intuitive guidance and she knew. However, it's like, although she felt this guidance and she may have felt even pushed to disconnect a little bit in the physical from him, to allow the situation to complete itself, this cycle to complete itself by stepping away, by giving him space. It's like, I feel that she chose for a long time to not heed her own intuition because it was too painful to face the truth of where her intuition was guiding her or what it was telling her. But at the same time, I feel as though during this feeling of having this intuition and not listening to it, she could have lost a lot of sleep. With rest and rejuvenation reversed, I feel like there was this low-level anxiety she was subjecting herself to, really acting against her own self-love by ignoring her intuition in order to remain in this, I'm getting like more manifested physical 3D communication or interaction with the masculine. It's like, in a sense, she was, by ignoring her intuition, she was acting out of her own self-interest, acting against her own self-love, because there was this fear here of, if I act on this intuitive guidance, if I do choose to step away or do whatever my intuition is telling me to do here, how are things going to continue to unfold in the physical with this masculine? And the way I'm seeing this being mirrored is unknowingly, as this divine feminine continued to ignore her intuition, what she was really doing is holding this block through her third eye chakra, through her intuition. And of course, all of these blocks energetically are mirrored within our twin flame as well. So as she ignored her intuition and chose to act against her own self-love, against her own self-interest, in order to try to hold together this connection somehow in the physical, what happened is the divine masculine mirrored her energy here, and I feel that he actually also remained intuitively blocked. It's like he wasn't capable of accessing his own intuition about how to complete this karmic cycle and break free of it. It's like he was ignoring his own spiritual intuition, his own intuitive hits, and not connecting fully with his intuition, with his higher self. But this block actually was mirrored in both parties here. And ultimately, this did lead, I feel, to many in the collective to some sort of culmination point, some breaking open point with storm warning in the upright position, something to finally call this intuitive feeling to the surface so visibly and so profoundly for this divine feminine that she had no choice but to finally heed her own intuition, to finally choose herself, to finally choose to fully surrender her expectations and physical attachments totally into self-love here. Wow, very powerful progression of these cards. So I'm going to reshuffle the cards here and see what a divine masculine is feeling here in regards to the connection. So what is going on with the divine masculine right now? What is going on with the divine masculine in the 3D or in the physical? Let's pull 3 cards here to get us started. I feel a divine masculine smiling or feeling this very admiring energy toward the divine feminine. Let's see if we can get more information on this. woman holding a coin in the reverse position. So I feel two messages from this card. The first message I'm feeling is a divine masculine thinking back to when the divine feminine may have been less in her power than she is now. And I see him admiring the growth and progress she's made so far, even if it's been at times at a distance. This admiration could range from being highly unconscious for this masculine, happening on a very higher self-soul level, but it could range all the way to being a very conscious feeling, because I do see a divine masculine looking at his phone and like seeing, almost like looking at old pictures of himself in this divine feminine and feeling very admirable towards her. And the level of consciousness he will have towards this admiration about her will simply depend on his level of awakening or energetic openness at the moment. So keep that in mind. But the second message I hear from this woman holding a coin reverse card is I literally see a masculine like cutting strings in this metaphoric but very powerful real sense to any attachments that have been holding him back from moving toward the divine feminine. I feel as though he is still in the process of doing this in some sense. Let's see, what are these attachments that this divine masculine is cutting out at this time? I'm hearing that for many divine masculines, there is this emotional detachment from things that has to occur before they are visibly detached from these things. I know this sounds very abstract, but I'm picking up on a masculine who it's like, for someone, there could be, if there was or is some kind of a third party situation, I feel as though this masculine has or is in the process of emotionally detaching from this thing, this connection, if it is a karmic situation. Again, this won't apply for everyone, only for someone who is consciously dealing with some form of third-party karmic in their connection. But if you are dealing with this kind of situation, I feel as though the divine masculine has actually detached emotionally from this person. I actually see them really emotionally attaching themselves to their divine feminine, really connecting in consciously with her energy. Again, this could be by seeing or looking at old pictures of her or of them together if they do have pictures together. This could be him kind of, I see him energetically hovering. I just see him energetically hovering over the divine feminine, whether it's through her social media, whether it's through his thoughts about her, daydreams, actual dreams. So divine feminine, you may have felt some of this energetic hovering from the masculine. You might feel him randomly stronger throughout the day than perhaps you did in the past because of this kind of way that he is potentially emotionally kind of attaching himself more consciously to you and to this connection, even if there has been a distance between you or has been some kind of a third party situation. Now, in regards to, again, if there is a third party, I feel this masculine simply just like, I do see this, it's like this emotional cord cutting that's taking place, and then this emotional reattachment to the feminine and to the connection, which really is just this reattachment to his own divine self, his own higher self, his own inner authenticity. If it's not a literal third party or external person involved here, this also could be this masculine detaching himself from a location that could be separating him and the feminine. This could be detaching himself from literally anything that has stood between them in the physical. Wow, so the two cards energetically to come out here are the 7th chakra, the crown chakra, and the 4th chakra, the heart chakra, both in the upright position. And what this signals to me is that there is a divine masculine who is really going through this deep energetic opening right now, especially this connection between his divine self with the crown chakra and his heart. These two cards together, what I heard in my head is just divine love connection. Because if you take these two cards together, one representing our connection with the divine and the other representing our connection to the heart space, I see this powerful intertwined opening for the masculine of both the crown chakra, the divine self connection with the divine, and the heart space, which of course leads them deeper and in a more aligned way into divine love connection, or what we sometimes call, or usually call, twin flame connection. I do sense the divine masculine collectively feeling more emotional lately about the divine feminine, about this connection. I see a divine masculine saying, I feel like I just woke up from a nightmare, and in this nightmare we were apart. And I was doing things in this nightmare to sabotage us or to sabotage this connection, but it all feels like just a bad dream that I am waking up out of. And I feel like this is really just signaling the awakening of the higher self of the divine masculine. So in the extended version of this reading, we will be diving much deeper into how these energetic shifts within the masculine, specifically through the crown chakra and the heart chakra, are going to be affecting his communication, interaction, and behavior, potentially within different twin flame connections collectively. So these extended messages will be in our beautiful Twin Flame Soul Tribe on Patreon. So the link to that reading, the extended messages, will be in the pinned comment and description box under this video. But for now, I do want to get into some higher self messages from both the divine feminine and the divine masculine to one another. So what does the divine feminine's higher self want to say at this time? Door to value in the upright position. What a beautiful full circle here. Because if you'll remember, one of the first cards we pulled speaking to the divine feminine early in the reading was this exact card, but in the reverse position. And I said that I felt it spoke to a divine feminine who had felt as though she was, to put it bluntly, there is a divine feminine or some who literally felt worthless to the masculine, or would have said, am I worth nothing to you, in the past because of something that happened. But when this event or situation unfolded itself, the beautiful thing is this divine feminine was capable of, pushed really, to go on this deep inner journey of finding self-worth within rather than externalizing her sense of value, her sense of worth. And this actually extends far beyond her so-called twin flame connection or her divine masculine. This extends into ways in which I feel this divine feminine was externalizing her worth for a long time. Adjacent possibilities in the upright position. I'm going to read a little bit from the guidebook for this card. Many unconsidered options. So the very first thing I feel from this card is, because divine feminine, you are increasing your sense of inner worth, inner value. You are energetically opening yourself up in such a powerful, beautiful way, a magnetic way. And as a result of this, you are already and in the future going to be attracting so many things into your life, because I see you literally like this powerful magnet, but you are going to be attracting both things that you find very valuable and other things that you might not find as valuable. These are all going to be, or many of these things are going to be, highly positive things. So when I say they aren't, some of these things won't be valuable, don't be worried about that. The image I'm getting here is like how if you take a magnet and put it in like this, I don't know, like put it in a place with a lot of garbage, but a lot of metal. And let's say that some of what you attract are these really valuable coins and others might just be scrap metal. And that's kind of what I'm getting for this divine feminine. It's like as you become more magnetic, you're just going to be attracting all kinds of things, experiences, potential lovers, suitors, career opportunities, wealth and increased finances flowing from different sources, just so many blessings. And I'm also hearing, though, a message from your higher self, almost your future self here, saying, in this next year, especially in 2022, you're going to have a lot coming in. And this is your future self, Divine Feminine, speaking to you, who is saying, be sure to exercise your discernment, to be selective about what you want, because right now you are so magnetic. You can have anything that you want out of life or out of your connections, but it's vital for you to use your own discernment and to be clear to yourself, to the universe, and to others about what it is that you truly desire in life. Appreciation in the reverse position. I'm hearing what you appreciate appreciates, meaning what you focus on increases. So I'm getting from this appreciation reverse card that there is also this need to release any negative fixations, whether it's in regards to career, finances, life, or specifically in love or in this love connection. Yeah, with envy coming out. This doesn't necessarily mean envy in the traditional sense, jealousy, insecurity. This could just be a feeling of lack. And I'm hearing to really focus in on, to zero in on things about yourself, your life, your love connections, even your twin flame connection that you appreciate. Because again, what you appreciate appreciates, increases in value, and increases in your life. So the more you shift your focus to positive things, even if those positive things seem small, the more those things will actually pick up momentum and increase in your life. And the greatest thing potentially standing in the way for the Divine Feminine, in fact, the only thing really standing in her way between her and her desires, is this fixation on the negatives that comes up from time to time. And where that fixation comes from is this fear of fully surrendering to the process of her life, to the divine timing of her life and of this connection. But as she continues to release these negative fixations, fears, and anxieties, and allow all of that to dissolve into total surrender, this victory card came out here. She will be victorious, meaning she will find success with everything she touches, with everywhere that she goes. I'm going to see if I can just get a few more messages from this Divine Feminine's higher self here. Wow, this is definitely what we needed to hear as collective Divine Feminines. Water your garden, nourishment, body care, tenderness, rest. And I'm going to read just a little bit from the guidebook for this card. Wow, okay guys, I cannot believe the first sentence of this card from the guidebook is exactly what we were talking about earlier. Earth is a seasonal planet, and as such, you're a seasonal being. Cyclic. You can't be on and in full bloom month after month, day after day after day. You're strongly being called to put on the brakes, rest, and refuel, to take a moment to restock and replenish, and slow right on down. Wow, that is so perfectly timed with those messages I was speaking on earlier as we were talking about seeing yourself like the earth, like something, a beautiful being with seasons, something living, something in motion, like the tide, something that ebbs and flows, has seasons and cycles, and to honor those cycles within yourself. So let's speak now to the Divine Masculine. By the way, I will be channeling more love and connection specific messages from the higher self of the Divine Feminine in our extended reading on Patreon. So as always, the link to those extended messages is in the pinned comment and description box under this video if you are resonating with them and feel guided to them. So let's have a conversation with the Divine Masculine here. What would the higher self of the Divine Masculine like to say here? Door to Spirit reversed. So I feel this speaking directly back to when we pulled this card earlier. And I said there was that mirrored energy block through the third eye chakra where it's like both the divine masculine and divine feminine in the past were cutting themselves off from their own intuition. Wow. And I'm hearing actually in both cases, it was fear that was blocking this intuition, this third eye chakra here. I'm hearing that for the divine feminine, the fear was fear of facing the truth of some kind of situation with the masculine, or facing something about him that wasn't yet ready for physical reunion or still needed to heal, facing some truth about the connection that would cause her some pain in the 3D. However, for the masculine, this fear was fear of facing his own healing. And whatever this thing was that manifested as a result of this intuitive block, really what this manifestation was a futile attempt by the masculine to attempt to distract himself from his own healing, to avoid facing or healing what needed to be faced or healed. So even if it was a third party, another person, an addictive pattern, a behavior pattern, whatever the thing was that manifested for this masculine, what it truly was beneath the surface energetically was a fear of, or an attempt to distract from, facing his own inner healing. I heard like it's time to face the music, all tied up in the upright position. I feel that also because of this intuitive block, this masculine could have, I heard a feminine saying like I could just intuitively feel him not being open, honest, or communicating fully with me, or perhaps just feeling him pull away in the past. But again, the reason he did this, I'm hearing him say on a higher self level, the reason I did this, divine feminine, wasn't because of you, it's because our connection is so powerful and so deep within me that I am incapable of communicating with you in the physical without revealing my full true self. And I was aware of this, and I was also afraid of facing that true self. And our communication brought it out in me. So in the past, I thought that by distancing myself by you, by pulling away, I thought that by lessening our communication in the physical in some way, or hiding in some way, that I could prevent you from seeing the true self within me that needed to be healed. And at the same time, I could avoid facing that healing myself. And this is what it created, an imbalance with Magician and the Mirror reversed. Guys, this is one of the two strongest twin flame cards in this deck. And it speaks to the balance or lack of balance within twin flame connection. So I see this masculine saying, it's like I'm now opening my eyes and realizing that I thought I was distracting myself, delaying, preventing my own facing of my own healing or fears, but really what I was doing is continuing to perpetuate this imbalance between us. And throughout all of that, I found myself feeling intensely alone with the Community Reverse card, and I could never understand why, but I now realize the reason I felt so alone is because I wasn't connecting with my true self within, with my true authentic self. And in doing so, I wasn't connecting with you either, Divine Feminine. And fourth chakra reversed, I was remaining closed off in my heart center. In fact, I feel this masculine quite literally as this dynamic shifts, as the heart chakra shifts from being closed to open, he may actually be feeling physical heart chakra sensations, racing heart, feelings in the chest, or perhaps in the upper back area as well, tension, different kinds of physical sensations as his heart chakra opens, but also emotional sensations. I feel this masculine feeling really emotional because it's like for so long he was perpetuating this imbalance in the connection. He was trying to pull away, trying to close himself off. And now I feel this energetic breaking open happening within him. And again, in the extended, we will be channeling a lot more specifics on how this breaking open for the masculine could be impacting his interactions, communication, etc. within the twin flame connection now and in the future. The final card to come out for this masculine in this spread here is strategy in the upright position. And I see all of this shifting from chaos and confusion within the masculine as he tried to evade his own healing, his own introspection, all of this shifting into clarity, into a solidification of this inner knowing about this connection, about how he feels, about the divine feminine, and his knowing, his remembrance really of her and of this connection. And I feel all of this shifting into this space of thinking ahead in a more concrete way into the future for this divine masculine. Potentially this could show up as him daydreaming about moving closer in some way in regards to communication or physically to the divine feminine within the connection. This could also manifest as actually making some kind of plan to meet up with her, to communicate with her, to come see her. Again, this will really depend on the specific circumstances of your connection. I also just saw 111, a number of alignments on the recording timer. So I will be now channeling a few final closing love messages for twin flames at this time from the Rumi Oracle deck. So what is one final message for twin flames listening to this reading at this time? Wow, okay, so the storm warning card somehow still remained out from the energy oracle deck. So I'm going to take that as a sign that this is part of the message here, this final message. Storm warning reversed. I just heard so clearly in my mind, the storm is over. We've been talking a lot about a metaphorical storm and chaos, a dark night of the soul. I'm hearing the storm is over if you let it to be, or the storm is coming to a close. Meaning that as we shift into this state of total surrender, as we allow ourselves to essentially melt or dissolve into unconditional love, this storm, I'm seeing a literal storm just clearing into blue skies, into a cloudless sky, a sunny day. And I feel like that is becoming possible, available to us as twin flames now on the planets. You who show the way, that is the card from the Rumi Oracle deck. I'm going to close this reading by reading a little bit from the guidebook for this card. The logical mind runs away from drowning. Lovers accept drowning in the sea as their destiny. The logical mind finds consolation in reaching a level of comfort in life. Lovers are focused beyond their own comfort. Rumi. I have looked for you in my darkest moments, searched for you as though fumbling for the candle and matches during an unexpected and interminable blackout. I am the ship at sea, seeking you as my guiding light. Nay, I am the sea, rising up to the horizon because I yearn to be closer to you. Then, oh, to my greatest relief, you rise like a phoenix from the ocean, casting hallowed golden lights all around you, this great blazing angel of holy fire. In a sweet instant, my soul rests in your presence. The sea becomes calm, the darkness abates. Your light reveals truth, and through your living presence, I know my true self again. I am what you are. Even when it appears, I am returning after being lost in darkness, as though I could ever be extinguished. I am divine light. I am you, a living sun. That feels like a really perfect place to close this reading. So for those of you who are stopping off here, thank you for being here. And for those of you continuing on to the Patreon reading, we will now be heading over to Patreon to discuss and channel many more details about the interactions and feelings between the masculine and the feminine at this time in the collective. We will also be channeling more higher self-love messages from the divine masculine and divine feminine to one another. So all of that information is in the extended version of this reading, which is linked in the pinned comment and description box under this video. For those of you who are leaving this reading here, thank you so much for joining me today in this reading. I hope you have a truly wonderful, beautiful rest of your day, and I will talk to you again in Wednesday's Twin Flame reading.